it off.
Five.
Every time I write a rhyme, I feel like Megatron going against Stop Crime for the very last time.
What's going on? Welcome to a little thing that we call the Cipher 360. I am your host, Marcus the Kid Warren, and with me is my man Muff. How you doing today, sir?
I'm back.
We are back after a long hiatus.
A long hiatus, man. Cat's been working. We've been doing it, you know.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because the last time we were here, it's been a gang of releases that's come out since we've been doing this. We haven't done this since like June, early June.
Oh my God, yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
So it's been a lot of stuff we got to get to. We're going to get to a couple today. Mm-hmm. Number one, and I'm going to hit you with a little segue here. What I watched, I did do an overnight a couple nights ago.
Okay.
And that's watching Unsung. You know what I mean? On TV One, Unsung.
Okay.
They go over all these unsung artists, the people who weren't the most popular people in the world, but people who are in the know will say, look, these guys are definitely unsung, underrated, whatever the heck.
Okay.
And they were doing one on Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane, man. And you forget how dope Big Daddy Kane really was. And a lot of you young people don't really understand how dope Big Daddy Kane really was, how influential he is over. I mean, I think young people, they know the influence of, say, Rakim. They know Rakim, okay. All right? You know, because they're going to get it from their parents. They know Rakim, the God MC was that dude.
Okay.
But the people who are in the know, old enough to know, or who really are into hip-hop, people who are like in their 20s, and especially in their 30s, and longer and older, I mean, they know Big Daddy Kane is one of the greats, man. He's top 10 or top 5, depending on who you talk to.
Okay.
What was interesting about Big Daddy Kane, and this is relevant to what we're about to go into, is that he was one of the first people, the precursor to Biggie with the way, because he had a swag to him. He wasn't a gangster rapper, but he had that swag to him. Okay. He had the stuff for the streets, and he also had the stuff for the ladies.
Okay.
Kane did. Also, he brought this guy on stage, Big Daddy Kane did, during one of his concerts in the early 90s, and one of the guys he would bring on stage is the guy we're going to review today. It was a very young Jay-Z, which is today's review, Jay-Z's Magna Carta, Holy Grail.
Okay.
A lot of hype behind this album.
Okay. Now, when you talk about hype, I want to talk about something else that's going on in the news today.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about a couple things. Like Paula Deen. People want to talk about her because it's been a minute since we've actually done this format. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about Paula Deen, but I do want to talk about Riley Cooper, the receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles.
See, like every year, Cipher Crew is actually discussing the N-word, aren't we?
Yes.
Every year.
And I wanted. Look, I gotta say something about this because it's been blowing up all over the place, all over the internet.
All right.
A lot of people had a lot of things to say about it.
Go ahead.
I want to know where on God's green earth can't a white person say the N-word? Now, if anybody can say the N-word, it's at a country western concert. He was at a country. He was at
his natural habitat.
He was at his natural habitat.
There's two places you should be able to freely say the N-word. That's the country western and the Klan meeting.
Exactly. Thank you.
Because I was basically. He was on some Clayton Bigsby at that joint, wasn't he?
I want to know what everybody is. What is everybody's problem with him saying the N-word at a country western concert?
If you saw the clip of him saying that N-word, he said everything. If you saw the Clayton Bigsby skit on the Dave Chappelle show, and he would say something that was derogatory towards blacks, and he'd go white power. That seems to me. After that, he should have said white power.
But I mean, he said, I think,
I'll fight every nigger in here.
Yes, yeah. I'll fight every nigger.
All one of them. Everyone all one of them.
He was like, I will fight that one nigger who was in here. Blah blah blah. No, and a lot of, and I kid. All right, but a lot of people are having a big problem with him saying the N-word, and people say, oh, why are they so hard on this guy, and why are they? Because not only is he a football player, he represents the Philadelphia Eagles. You stupid retard. He represents the NFL. So, of course, everybody's going to have a problem with it. Okay? If you are an NFL player, you can not go out and spew the N-word anytime you feel like it. Unfortunately, that's the case.
I mean, a couple things. Number one, this is what I get tired of. Like, every time something like this happened racially, the first thing that people do is attack black people because, for some reason, we're easy targets, man. We're underrepresented. We're not unified as a people like we should be. Certainly not economically. So we make easy targets. For instance, if you go back to the Zimmerman verdict, which we haven't talked since we've been on, you found every excuse for this unarmed black young man to where it's his fault he got shot. Doesn't make sense. So they're looking at black people's fault because he wore a hoodie, because he shouldn't have been walking where he shouldn't have been walking. You know what I mean? Basically, there's a lot of people that have that subconscious view of a superiority over black people. When things like this happen, somehow they feel like for people to say the N-bomb is validated on some level. In fact, if you actually check my Facebook page, I wrote a real long piece on why people who don't understand black outrage, why we feel the way we do about that verdict. But that's digressing. Getting back to Riley Cooper real quick. Bottom line is, he was upset, and he was upset that he got caught. Basically, It wasn't that he was sorry for the N-word. I mean, I'm sure he's sorry now, whatever. But he's really sorry, like that people heard that. So it is what it is, man. Just bottom line is, don't go attacking us because we say the N-word. And bottom line, and also, nigger and nigga are two different things to me.
I mean, that's a long conversation that we can have about that. You know
it's two different things to me. Nigger and nigga are two separate terms to me. And what's more is that we use that term. We've talked about this. We just once a year we had this conversation. That nigga is really a term of endearment by taking bull crap and making it into chicken soup or whatever. That's a bad analogy.
But I say it's chicken a long conversation because even if okay, so it's a white dude says, what if he said, I'm going to beat up every nigga in this place?
It's the same thing, because if you actually saw it, you could saw the venom and what it is he was saying. He meant nigger. You ain't going to say that. You're not going to say that. And even if he did say it, it still ain't for him to say. I don't care who.
Like I said,
that's not for you to say. And bottom line is, that's the way. It's the same thing we did with soul food. There's nothing nutritious about chitlins.
Actually, that's a very good question. That's a very good statement, because we're given trash.
We make
it made treasure.
Exactly. We make chicken salad out of chicken.
So I don't want to digress on that, but I mean, it's like at the end of the day, I mean, it's like really, I mean, Riley Cooper, he's not going to see this, but it's really not a smart thing to do to go out and spew the N-word when you get pummeled by the N-words all day as your job.
Well, like I said, he didn't know that he was going to be on tape. And what's really stupid...
he knew he was on tape because the really funny thing was his boy was there. He was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I know. He was drinking. That's what it was. And then by the time he realized it was like, you know what? You got to figure... It's real funny. You bring that up because I was watching this bit with Bill Burr. He's one of my favorite comedians. He happens to be a white guy. He's a comedian. Real funny.
Brilliant comedy.
And he was talking about the fact that, because Bill Burr's a real cool dude. He doesn't get on with the racist thing like that. But he said he was sitting there talking to somebody, and he said there's this white guy, him and this white guy are watching like ESPN, right? And some guy has some big contract or something on TV. And he said he's over there talking about, this guy's over there talking about how upset he is that these athletes are making so much money, blah, blah, blah. And you could tell the dude was really jealous of the athletes. And Bill Burr was saying in the comedic way, he's like, I could tell the way this dude was talking, the N-bomb was about to come. And I'm looking around to see how many black men around for this thing comes. I know it's about to go down. You know what I mean? But he said he couldn't stop the dude. He's like, oh, here it comes. So, that's what his boy was doing today. He knew it was coming, So, hey.
Anyway, we digress. Who are we here to talk about today, sir?
Like I said, Magna Carta, Holy Grail by Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Now the Big Daddy Kane comparison is really good because that's really a precursor to his type of style. Okay. You know what I mean? Because he could be smooth.
Yes, sir.
Because he had the joint for the streets. Like here I am.
R.A.W. A terrorist. He'd have been trouble through anyway.
I was gonna keep going. Anyways. Wow. So I'm listening to this album, Jay-Z's Holy Grail, Magna Carta Holy Grail. And I'm trying to rate him, and I had this conversation with someone recently as to where do I rank it among Jay-Z albums. Okay. It's a very good album. Is it his best album? No. Is it his second best album? Probably for me, no. Third best? I don't know. Rating him, as far as I'm concerned, now get into where I think about Magna Carta Holy Grail. First of all, I like the album a lot. Really a lot. Okay. Reasonable Doubt is always going to be like, that's still the dopest album he's ever put out. You know what I mean? I would say the Blueprint and Blueprint 2 probably second and third to me. And maybe American Gangster in a way I like better than this album.
Okay.
You know? What I love this album, the same thing I love about the album is the same thing I think has always been a challenge for Jay-Z, and that's having consistent production on the album all the way through.
Really?
But that said, I think the production, and I've been listening to this thing consistently since it came out. Now,
Okay.
I like the album a lot. It's grown on me. You know what I mean? I would love for him to have just one producer just to go at it. You know what I mean? Just for him and Jay-Z. But that's just my particular taste. A couple of tracks on the album just absolutely stand out. Like, we know Picasso Baby is sick. And I think the fact that Timberland got with Jay-Z to make that, because I know they kind of fell out after the Blueprint Part 3, based on what I've been reading on the internet. That's awesome that they kind of got together and put together this magical freaking track, because the Picasso Baby is kind of sick, you know?
Okay.
Jay-Z spits that hot fire like he always does. It's just, you know, it's grown man rap from top to bottom. I love that, you know what I mean? Definitely grown man rap. The production, although it might not be quite as consistent, it is consistent enough. So it's a good listen all the way through, I believe. You know what I mean? Justin Timberlake kind of sets it off pretty good with the singing on the first track, Holy Grail.
Yes, sir.
And just all the way through, just where you at? I'll talk all day about it. Where you at with it?
Well, on this one, I totally agree with you on that one. When you say that you're not sure if it's Jay-Z's greatest album, but I will tell you this much: I think it's Jay-Z's most creative album.
Oh, okay.
On this joint, he is very outspoken, which he always is, by the way, ever since Reasonable Doubt. But on this album, I think that he actually taps into like a more emotional type of texture which comes out in this album. I mean, from the first track to the last track, I mean, it's like comes out very strong and kind of tapers off at the very end, if you ask me, to be totally honest with you. But this album,
I would agree with that.
But this album, I do believe, is a great listen. Not his greatest album, but is most undoubtedly his most creative album.
It's a
and I
quality album.
think it's because, and the one thing I will disagree with you with,
Okay.
I think it's a good thing
All right.
that he had different producers on this album, because
But he always does, though.
true that. But he always, on this album, I think he used it to his advantage most. This album, and I think he used it to his advantage, which makes this a great album.
Yeah, and I think the theme that runs throughout this entire album, he's kind of speaking about fame more metaphorically throughout the album. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of takes the different production, makes it a little bit more consistent because of the subject matter.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I get that. I mean, I like the album a lot. I think, you know, some joints just straight bang. I think it's definitely... What's great about Jay-Z is the fact that he's able, from an older guy, he's like our age, but he's able to make his music as hella relevant for younger people.
Okay.
He does. I mean, you can't listen to a KRS album and say, man, that sounds like it sounds like a older dude rapping. It
Very
doesn't.
true.
He just, you know, he keeps his production fresh. He keeps his lyrics tight. It is what it is. If I'm...
Let me tell you this much.
No,
I mean,
go
it's like I think you make a very good point that Jay-Z, part of his persona and part of his fame and part of his success is that he can actually relate to old cats like us who listen to hip hop, who grew up with hip hop, and he can also relate to younger cats who are in hip hop. And I think that is, at the end of the day, that is his actual hook. That's what brings people in to listen to a Jay-Z album, because he can relate to everybody.
Yeah, and it's really, and I think going back to the comparison I made with Big Daddy Kane earlier is that swag never gets dated.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Well, let me be real. Let me be 100. Okay. That you nowadays, and I'm not trying to crap on all rappers that are out right now, but you have a lot of people out there who rely on swag alone and not lyricism. Big Daddy Kane, and it's a great, excellent comparison that to Jay-Z, that you know, you have to have the swag, you have to have but you also have to have the lyricism, you also have to have the beats to do it, and you also have to have the subject matter to do it, and that's what Big Daddy Kane had, and that's what Jay-Z has.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people want to come out and say, well, I just had the swag. This is, that's a swag
they
rappers
had
make
lyrics,
me ill.
man. Kane's lyrics were just, I mean, young people, if you listen to Big Daddy Kane's lyrics, really just listen, if you listen to his lyrics, it's punchline after punchline. It was nuts. You listen to him like, whoa, he said that, that's crazy. He said that, because he used to write for the Juice Crew before he started doing his own thing.
Yes, sir.
He was a writer, so especially guys that can write like a Big Daddy Kane, always come off fresh. And then, like I said, for the ladies loved him, but he's also a 5%er too. You know, and that came across in his lyrics and his music. So, at any rate, Jay-Z, liked it a lot. If I'm going to rate it, 4 Cyphers.
Oh, I agree with my man here. 4 Ciphers for me as well. Great listen. Not his best work, but still very creative, very from the heart type of deal. I thought he was showing a lot of emotion on this one, and I thought that he was actually trying to reach out to a younger audience on this one, which I thought he did great, and also keeping his fan base very, 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 very happy. And I think he did it great with this one as well. So 4 for me as well.
All right. So how can they reach us, man, going forward?
You can reach us at kidandmuff44@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter. We also kidandmuff44. That's KIDDANDMUFF44 on Twitter and Gmail. You can also hit us up on our Facebook page, which is the Cipher Crew. Hit us up. We're on Lonely. We haven't been here in a minute, so hey.
Individually too, Marcus Kid Warren on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
John Watkins on Facebook. So if you even hit individually or Cipher Crew, we get it either way.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sounds good.
And why should they do that? Because the Cipher said so, son. We out.
Yeah,
Peace.
and you don't stop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Check it, my man Trey, and you don't stop. Johnny Boombats, and you don't stop. My man Muff, and you don't stop. My nigga Woo, and you don't stop. Little Brooklyn, and you don't stop. Grand Jury, and you don't stop. Jay White, and you don't stop. Cipher Music, and you don't stop. Check it, we rise from the grave with the eyes of a slave. We strive to survive, rocking the mic live, no surprise that we paid. We created a trade that became a craze, it wasn't vice versa. Gave birth to a verse and baptized it in cursive. If you thirst for the real, then travel no further. We murdered the fraudulent motherfuckers and went out to get burgers. We hip-hop carnivores, living by the art of war. With enough lyrical ammo in my dome that I can start a war. Still the shogun, defeated by no one. Bring it back soldiers, put them together and I'm leaving them broken. With a hollow point flow, to the opposite of your toes. You'll be like, oh my god, the key I double, we didn't know. So put your hands to the opposite of the flow. Feel the rhythm with Muff on the beat and the kid is on the wisdom. And Woo was on the boards and the niggas had the vision. We can make some real shit to make these motherfuckers listen. To the people in the front, gonna give you what you want, like yeah, and you don't stop. To the people in the back, coming right and exact, like yeah, and you don't stop. It's like yes, yes, sure. To the beat, sure. When you give it to me, yeah, give it to me raw. When we get together, do we stand, do we fall? Welcome to the Backpackers Ball.